Why was Goldberg bleeding? Why? What's up? I'm Pete, Last Guy, and this is Raw Emotion, where I take a look at this week's Monday Night Raw and I tell you a little bit about what I think and a lot about how I feel. So let's talk about the opening segment. What was it this week? Let me check my notes. Right. Roman Reigns opens the show with a in-ring promo. No, that's gotta be last week. Hold on. Oh, wait. No, it was this week! Yeah, the show opens with a Roman Reigns promo in the middle of the ring. That's awesome. And then he gets interrupted by Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. I'm sorry, is this still this week? But unlike last week, this did not lead to the entrances of Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar but it did lead to a U.S. title rematch between Roman Reigns and Chris Jericho for later in the evening. Because that's not something we've seen too much of yet, but it's the go-home show before the Royal Rumble, and again, pretty sure this is all going to change up after the Rumble, and maybe we can move on from these storylines, so I'll deal with it for one more episode. It's fine, they're both good workers, I love seeing it, it's fine. But then we move on to a Cesaro versus Luke Gallows match, and a quick note, I really like what Cesaro and Sheamus' entrance has turned out to be. I kind of like when it works. When Cesaro does not botch the whole pulling the clothes off part of it, it's really, really cool, I think. You know, and he's behind him like, it's good. I like it. It was a pretty good match. You know, again, it's kind of something that we've seen a lot of is these two teams feuding, but we hadn't seen Cesaro go up against Luke Gallows yet. He was with Carl Anderson last time when these teams clashed 2 weeks ago. But anyway, he's fought Luke Gallows and it was a pretty good match. I mean, Cesaro is just stupid strong. Of course, and Gallows is a somewhat larger man, and if you didn't notice either of these two things, the commentary team made absolutely certain that you knew. Gallows, big, Cesaro, strong. Over and over again through the entire match. Talking points, we get it, but come on, just mix it up. Mix it up a little bit. You're the better commentary team. I think overall, on Raw, they have a better commentary team than SmackDown. Act like it. I mean, all my love to Mauro Ranallo, absolutely, but you got JBL and David Otunga over there too, which just, no. But there's shenanigans, of course, from Sheamus, shenanigans, nope. Well, he's out there, he starts chasing Carl Anderson around the ring because Carl Anderson is being kind of a jerk out there and doing what heels do, and this Sheamus starts to chase him, and they're running around the ring, and this has always looked silly to me. I'm sorry, there's suspension of disbelief, and there's kayfabe, but when every time they run around the ring, you can tell they're not actually running full speed, and it's just like this, and it looks ridiculous, but he chases them out. He runs, Carl Anderson runs up the ramp and is gone, but he comes back later to just deliver a drop kick to the back of Sheamus' head. It was pretty. It looked good, but then this distracts the ref. He doesn't see when Gallows is tapping out to the sharpshooter, so we got basically a flipped up version of last week's debacle, so, 50-50 booking, I guess. But anyway, they'll face each other for the title at the Royal Rumble. We'll see where that goes. Should be a fantastic match. Let's move on. So we get a backstage segment to set up the next match. And you got Sami Zayn back there talking to Mick Foley and Steph McMahon literally phoning it in. They got her on speakerphone and Sami's trying to get into the Royal Rumble, and so Steph makes a match between him and Seth Rollins. Says if you beat Seth Rollins, you get into the Royal Rumble. But then we only find out later when Mick Foley tells Seth Rollins about this match that if Sami wins and gets a spot in the Royal Rumble, he's taking Seth's spot and Seth will no longer be in said Rumble and will instead be free to run in and interfere on behalf of anybody, which he's going to do. That match itself, definitely match of the night in my opinion. We go on into that match and these two guys, they're so good. They're so very good, and we all know that now, but it's just, they're versatile. They're very versatile guys. These two could put on a high-flying spot fest, put either of them in a ladder match, and it's just going to go crazy. Or they can do these like technical grappling and chain wrestling showcases, which is kind of how this match started out. And then from there, it's just such a well-structured match. They kind of started not low energy necessarily, but kind of down with the grappling and the chain wrestling, and it escalated over the course of the match to where you're seeing some of the bigger spots, but there's still a great sense of ring psychology going on. It was fantastic. I loved this match. I loved it. And in the end, I was so invested that by the time we got to the part where Triple H's music hits, you know, and Seth is distracted, I seriously was so into this match that I was like, oh, what? No, what? Before the Rumble? He's not gonna, is he? And then we slowly begin to realize, no, he's actually not. This, it's a trap! Seth is distracted by the music, he's staring at the entrance ramp, and is like, what? Okay, tries to get back to business and pin Sammy, but Sammy reverses it on him, gets the pin, Sammy's in the Rumble, Seth is not. What? But a really good match. Great setup, great execution, all of it. Oh, I loved it. That's a big plus. Even though I feel like I got a little bit cheated when he teased that top rope pedigree and then Sami Zayn teased an apron haluva kick. I mean, we did get an apron pedigree out of it, and that's good, but it's a little frustrating. He teased those and they'd give it to me, but, you know, that aside, everything else about this match, fantastic, including the fact that it was a face against face, and the stakes were there, and they were real. Match of the night. Cruiserweight corner time. Okay, let's talk about the 6-man tag match that they had on Raw this week. Yeah, a 6-man tag match in the Cruiserweight division. That's new. But we did get to see I want to say the Raw debut of Mustafa Ali, who I guess has been doing some good stuff over in 205 Live, but I don't watch 205 Live, I don't have the time. We saw him here on Raw for what I believe was the first time, and not much to say about the match itself, as a 6-man Cruiserweight tag match is pretty much what you'd expect, but I am happy that the WWE has got a character named Mustafa Ali, and he's a face. Didn't see that coming. They're kind of making a big deal out of it, which kind of comes off as just like, I got tons of black friends. What? Yeah, some of my best friends. But it's good, and he was on a team with T.J. Perkins and Jack Gallagher. Ha! Jack Gallagher, who now comes down to the ring with an umbrella, which I guess is his gimmick. But hey, come on, man, Marty Scurll. Come on. I can't hold it against him too much. He's Jack Gallagher. He's fantastic. Moving on. The other Cruiserweight match of the evening found Rich Swann facing off against Noam Dar, who entered alongside Alicia Fox doing her very best Hunger Games cosplay. Had a pretty standard Cruiserweight match. I thought it was okay. I mean, pretty good. Honestly, it's pretty good. It's always pretty good to watch these guys, because they're all pretty good. But Dar is defeated and, you know, runs off into the arms of Alicia Fox and leaves up the entrance ramp, and Rich Swann calls out Neville. Neville answers that call, comes down to the ring, and is like, I know. And he tries to escape, so walk away from the ring, but nope, Rich Swann's not having it. He suicide dives to Neville from behind, beats him up a little bit, they separate, they walk off. We're setting things up here. These two are going to face off for the Cruiserweight Championship at the Royal Rumble, which is something I'm very excited to see happen, because Evil Neville, fantastic. Bad, that's bad. But I love this new persona, and Rich Swann is somebody that I've favored him all the way through the Cruiserweight Classic tournament. I wanted to see him do great things, and now he is. This is going to be a great match on Sunday. I'm very excited. But we're going to leave Cruiserweight Corner because it's a New Day. Yes, it is. New Day is in the ring. They're promoing. They're doing what they do, talking about how they're going to win the Royal Rumble and then go on to the main event of WrestleMania to become your I'm not going to do the whole thing. When do I ever do the whole thing? But then are interrupted by Enzo and Cass, and I was actually excited to see them at this point. They come in, they're promoing strong, and I'm thinking, okay, this is good, because this means that not only are these two teams engaging in a feud, which is great. These two teams, they're great talkers, they're great characters, they're over the top, they're just super over with the fans. I want to see these guys spend more time in the ring together. They haven't done that nearly enough since Enzo and Cass were brought up. Cool. And this means that since they're in a feud now, that the New Day's thing with Titus O'Neil is done. And the Enzo and Cass feud with Rusev and Lana and Jinder Mahal, also done. Yes! But then Rusev, no. Yep, here comes Rusev, and of course he's got Jinder Mahal with him, and of course he's got Lana with him. They're married, obviously. They trash talk a little bit, and then Titus O'Neil comes in, and he does his trash talk, and then he's talking about an 8-man tag match, and then Xavier Woods points out, rightly enough, that even though Lana is fine, and then he's told to respect her, by the way, by his teammates. See, Enzo, take notes. You can compliment somebody and still be respectful. Or maybe Cass, take notes when your friend is being kind of a creep to another man's wife. Maybe call him out on it. Maybe. But he points out that Lana's not going to be a part of this match, so who is your fourth man gonna be? And suddenly, this cluster of just terribleness and bad storylines and stupid feuds is all overshadowed by one big ol' hairy dude. Yeah, Braun Strowman is the fourth heel for their team. So they have a match, not much to say about it. It was largely uneventful. It was honestly kind of boring until you end up with Enzo in the ring with Braun Strowman. They scuffle a little bit, but ultimately what happens is exactly what you would think would happen in this scenario. Braun Strowman eats Enzo Amore alive, gives him that running power slam, pins him for an easy 3 count, yet it's over. I love that, because Enzo's been really annoying me lately with these stupid storylines. It's always good to see him get beat up. Braun is in the ring celebrating. Everybody else involved in this seems to have just vanished, and he's excited, and he's very much the big man who has just won a wrestling thing, and then oh boy, here comes the Big Show. Are they gonna fight? Are they gonna fight? Are they gonna fight? They're gonna tease us for the Royal Rumble. They're not actually gonna fight. It's just gonna... The Big Show's in the Royal Rumble, so is Braun. They're gonna stand there and be very tall and muscular and sweaty and beardy and stare at each other for a little bit, and then Braun Strowman's gonna leave. And you gotta wait till Sunday for this one, suckers! No, but that's a good way to build hype, so I am excited. I've been excited for the Rumble match for a while now, and it's just building and it's building. This had better not let me down. I'm setting my hopes pretty high here, WWE. Then you got your U.S. title match between Roman Reigns and Chris Jericho, with Kevin Owens coming up into the commentary table and during a commercial break. He wasn't there when the match started. We just come back from commercial and, hey, Kevin Owens on commentary, which is great. It's great. He's over there just trash-talking Byron way better than anybody else on that announced team ever has. Corey Graves and Michael Cole both can just barely hold it together while this is happening. He's sitting there yelling at Chris Jericho, "Code breaker! Code breaker! Break his code!" Until finally, of course, he's had enough. He goes into the ring and starts beating up Reigns. Of course, Jericho's disqualified, so he retains the title, but he loses the match. There's a brawl. They try and put Reigns in the cage. Reigns fights his way out of the cage, which was actually pretty cool. But he eventually escapes the cage and turns the tables on him, gets Kevin in the cage, locks it up, has him raise it, and Chris Jericho's like holding on to it, like, oh, no, and then Superman punch from the hanging off the cage. Pretty cool little spot there. I thought that was fun. Roman Reigns walks away victorious. Okay, more setup. I'm okay with it. It was fun. It was a little fun. Not much to speak of, but it was fun. And after that whole thing was resolved, we found out an interesting little tidbit about the Universal title match at the Royal Rumble. It's gonna be no DQ. So I hope they make good use of that. And then we had Nia Jax come out and squash a jobber, so of course we know that Sasha Banks can't be too far away, and there she is. Music hits, comes down the ramp, she's got a crutch. Whoops, she doesn't need it. Bam, 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 bam. So they're building that feud, and I think it's working pretty well. There were some backstage interview segments between Charlotte and Bayley throughout the night as well that I feel like really helped to build that feud and make it seem more organic than it felt like when it started. So I'm really looking forward to these two women's division feuds, seeing them get fleshed out. But let's talk about the last thing of the evening. Goldberg makes his big dramatic entrance as he always does. It's great to watch. There's the walking, there's the sparks, there's the blah, 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 blah. And he must have, punched himself in the head on that second one or something, because he comes out bleeding from the head and sweating a lot. So he's bleeding extra. Why? What happened? What did you do? Is Brock Lesnar just so powerful that he can actually break your skin with his mind? Like, is that how he actually opened up Randy Orton? It wasn't actually his elbow, it was just his brain, man. But Goldberg ends up going out there, he tries to start his promo, the crowd is very enthusiastic and loves him, so they're chanting, so he stops and they're thank you. He gets sidetracked. He keeps like having to stop and start, he's like, duh, I forgot my scripted promo. You guys keep distracting me. That's the problem. Not the fact that we're scripting promos. It's you. It's the fans. That's the problem. Yep. But he's interrupted by Heyman, who basically gives a big ol' sermon to introduce Brock, who comes out behind him. Goldberg challenges him. He's like, hey, if you enough of a man, come down to the ring right now, man. We'll fight. We'll fight right now. Brock goes down to the ring, gets in the ring. You think you're gonna see a little bit of a brawl, and then... BONG! Whoa, sudden Undertaker. He's right there in the ring. He did that thing that he does where he apparates, and you think, whoa, what's it, how are they gonna, oh my god, what's gonna happen, what's gonna happen, and then the episode's over. Bye. That is not cool. I get that you're hyping the Royal Rumble, but there was no resolution at all to that entire segment. It ended. It just cut with them all standing in the ring and staring at each other and being all big and tall and sweaty and muscular. Not so beardy, though, as the one from earlier. But regardless of whether that's frustrating or not, the hype is real for Royal Rumble. And that's all I've got for this week's Go Home Raw before the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So tell me what you thought of this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. What's your excitement level like for the Royal Rumble? What are some of your picks? Who do you think is going to debut? Or who do you think is going to be a surprise return in the Royal Rumble match? Tell me all about that right there in the comments. And if you like the video, there's a button for that where you click it, and you liked it. We like those. We like likes. We like likes. And also subscribe if you want to see this every week, because we do it every week. We do Raw Emotion every week. We try and get Smacktivism in every week. That's where Wes breaks down SmackDown Live. Before and after pay-per-views, we may or may not make videos, but this we try and get out every single week. So if you want to see that, click that subscribe button and share this video with your friends who like wrestling. But hey, that's all the time I've got. I've been Pete Last Guy, and you've been a delight. We'll see you at the Rumble, but this match is over in 1, 2... But then we move on to... What am I? But this is yada yada. Again, pretty standard. Oh, dog, shut up. Comes, does this bouncy thing and go. Come on.